guys, welcome and welcome back. Let's discuss shoes. Seemingly insignificant in our daily lives until you're tripping over them or trying to get to work and one of the kids can't find their shoes, then the search is on. Am I right? Think about it. What does your routine and even your shoes say about you? Some, not all, take their shoes off before walking inside and usually slide them back on the way out. It's a part of your daily routine, something you really probably don't even think much about. Whether you wear shoes all day and keep them on when you get home or take them off immediately, this case really highlighted just how significant a pair of shoes can be. Both boys have constantly asked to be showcased on the YouTube channel, so I figured this was a fun, creative way just to share even the insight as a mother with my own kids. And as far as Xander's shoes go, these are probably the shoes that I trip over the most on the way out the door on my way to work. And, some are specific to a sport. Each of them have at least one pair of shoes for each sport, whatever season they are in. That's usually which ones are kicked off at the door. On to Camden's shoes, my oldest, who stands 6'4", has many pairs of running shoes. However, his everyday school shoes are typically kicked off at the shelf in the garage prior to walking in the door. Where am I going with this? I'll tell you.
I will.
Let me introduce you to my best friend. This is Kimberly, or as we call her, Kimmy. She's been my ride or die since the sandbox, and she's the one that knows me very well. We've been through hell and back together, so when I saw the body cam footage, she was the first one I thought to call and ask her thoughts. Keeping in mind, when we first saw the footage, all we knew was that this was a friend of Shannann's who was there at the house, suspicious that something was not right. So I texted my girl and said, "Hey, I'm going to send you a video clip and you tell me what your initial thoughts are." Kimmy agreed to watch the clip and give me her feedback. I think the best part was being on speakerphone when she watched it, because her reaction was exactly what mine had been. Her very first initial response was that she would have kicked the door in. She said, "I'd rather have to buy you a new door than to have something wrong with you and you needing help." I think a question that we all have had, was why did the concerned friends just stay outside? Once the garage door opened, Kimmy said she would have blown right past Chris to get inside. So I've pondered this thought because it is a sensitive one. Let me just be clear, no one is speaking ill of anyone as far as who responded to the house that day. From a friend to a friend scenario, you drop your friend off, knowing the marital discord, then she's unresponsive the next morning. Shoes are by the door, cars there, and no sign of anyone. Had that been Kimmy or myself, that door would have been kicked in and paid for later. The truth is, we all have different friends for different seasons in our lives. A ride or die is always there. Miss Atkinson was a relatively new friend, from what I gather, to Shanann, and she was linked up with Shanann via Shannann's mother. So when we look at this objectively, we can see why Miss Atkinson's reaction would have been different than Kimmy's. Let's put this into a different perspective. What would Frankie have done had he been the one there that day? At what point would he have entered the home himself? Keep in mind, by the time Chris arrived, he had already been telling Atkinson and her son that he was on his way and continued to delay his arrival. So by the time the garage doors opened, the question kind of jumps up. Would Frankie have just gone right on up into the garage? I will say I don't know him personally, but from what I've read, what I've seen, what I've, heard out of his own mouth on, the outlets and whatnot, I'm pretty darn sure that the moment that garage door went up, if he had not already been in the house, he would have gone right on in through the garage. So, some people may ask, why even bring this to light? Why make a video of this? This is just one more video. Well, here's why. Crime shows have sensationalized some stories in the news and media. They've created celebrities of the deceased and highlighted those prosecuted, yet the raw emotions of what's really felt and endured is neutralized. You see these people cast into this crime story, but rarely stop long enough to acknowledge the feelings of anguish, anxiety, disbelief, uncertainty, and worst of all, the hollow loss of losing someone that you love so suddenly. In my opinion, her shoes kicked off this story. For anyone who knew Shanann or followed her on social media, those flippers were kicked off when she walked into the door. This, in my opinion, is the last known quote-unquote normal and could be witnessed from just outside the door. Sounds like a lot of people's lives. Have you thought about having these discussions with your close friends? Do you have a double callback emergency check? My girls and I have this. We know if we receive a call back to back, it's urgent. Let one of those go unanswered and I guarantee you have another phone call or another phone going off within minutes. And if that's not answered, then someone's knocking at the door soon. If you took a snapshot of your quote-unquote normal, what would it look like? Does it leave you vulnerable? Thank you for being here, and I hope you continue to show support for the channel by subscribing and liking the video. Here at the House Huddle, I hope to bring awareness to these vulnerable areas often kept hidden or left in the dark. So I leave you with this. On August 13th, 2018, a friend who showed up looked inside the window and noticed a pair of black flip-flops and a lock from the inside. They weren't just another pair of shoes. It wasn't just a simple lock. They were the shoes she was wearing the last time she was seen alive, and we see her walking to the door and inside the place she called home. The next time you trip over your loved one's shoes on the way in or out, and they are alive and well, take a moment to thank the Creator for their love and for their safety. And sweet friends, I wanted to wish you all a happy Thanksgiving. Make sure you reach out to your friends and tell them that you love them.